Morning. It is a very cold, early February morning. I am at a cemetery in Hazleton, Pennsylvania. There was a cold case solved. It was 57 years old. It is believed to be the fourth oldest cold case in the country that was solved. It was using DNA. Come on, let's go check it out. Find the poor little girl's grave. I'm Dee Explores. Welcome to my channel. If you're brand new, welcome aboard. I hope you enjoy it. If you're a returning viewer, that's awesome. Love you guys. Today we were in search of a cold case. It's been solved. It's recently been solved. On March 18, 1964, little 9-year-old Marise Chiverella was on her way to school. She left her house around 8 a.m. Sadly, she was never seen again. By 1 p.m. that afternoon, her body was found in a strip mine hole near the Hazleton Municipal Airport. She was on her way to the church before going to school. It was a Wednesday morning, and she wanted to drop off some canned goods at the church. She had aspirations to be a nun. Poor little thing. Sadly, when they found her body at 1 o'clock that afternoon, they had discovered that she was sexually and physically assaulted. Her canned goods were still with her, as were her personal belongings. As new technology developed, they did start doing DNA matches. They put them in databases, and it was right around 2007 that DNA really became a big thing, and they were checking it monthly against the DNA database. And the case was cold, but they never stopped investigating. Oh, look at these crosses. That's interesting. Very cool. Now, in 2019, the police got a match that they believed was a distant relative of little Marise's. They even said this on CNN, yes. And around 2020, they started getting help from a genealogist, Eric Schubert. He began to work on the family tree, got some matches, and he was able to shortly provide some names of relatives that were scattered throughout the country. Now, most of the relatives that they were able to find and contact did cooperate. They gave DNA samples. They wanted his case solved. They did come up with a match, a possible match suspect. He was believed to be a sixth cousin of little Marise. His name was James Paul Fort. He was 22 years old at the time of the murder. Little Marise was 9. Now, like I said, Fort was believed to be a sixth cousin of her. 22 at the time. His remains were exhumed this January, and his DNA matched a sample that was on Marise's jacket from years ago. It's good that they kept these samples. Now, you might think this case is solved and there's closure. Well, there's closure for the families, but Mr. Fort died in May of 1980 from what they believe to be natural causes, possibly heart attack. The police revealed this at a news conference. Now, Colonel Mark Barron was the lead investigator on the case. He said even though it took nearly 58 years, quote, even though it took nearly 58 years for this case to be solved, he thinks this should instill in the families of victims across the state and the country a sense of hope. And that hope is no matter how long it takes, as we will continue to investigate these crimes. Colonel Barron also believes that this is the fourth oldest case to be solved in the country using genetic genealogy. Now, after the murder, over the next several years, police were interviewing family members and collected samples. Their efforts helped them narrow down the suspect to 4 people. Here she is, little girl. Honey, they found him. Anyhow, to the 4 individuals, one had been arrested in 1974 for an unrelated sexual assault, and that person was later identified as Fort, and he was determined to be the main suspect. Okay. This used to be one big, giant hole. Most of it has been filled in, it has been reclaimed. But this is the area where little Marise, her body was found at 1 p.m. that fateful day. And just about a month ago, in January, they exhumed him. Oh God. They exhumed his body and did a DNA match to the samples they found on her clothing, and it was a match. The families now have closure, somewhat. Oh my God. I did not expect to see this. I mean, yeah, okay, they did exhume him just a month ago, but I wasn't really expecting to see this. Now, Fort's remains were exhumed this past January, and it was determined that he was a DNA match. The family is happy that this is now closed and solved, but I don't know, I think it would be hard for me because, I mean, they determined who did this heinous crime, but is justice served? He's passed. I don't know. If that was my child, well, can't do much about that now, but anyhow, thank you for coming. It's a little cold this morning, but I'm glad you came. Thank you very much. Pray for this little girl. May she rest in peace. She wanted to be a nun. Now she's up there with Borgia. Anyhow, see you soon. Peace, baby.